POC people, but namely white people.
You must hate yourself. You must actually hate yourself.
And that's why you need to really know God for yourself, and you need to know what is really for you. There are thousands of people applying to the same course, but it was enough for me to completely question my entire purpose.
This will try on the phone.
You turn around, babe.
We're rolling. 1, 2, and 3. Hi guys, how you doing? I actually don't know what I think I'm doing. I clearly think I'm part of some like 80s music video. Let's Get Physical. Olivia Newton-John. So basically today I'm going to be re-recording a video because some of the footage got lost. So basically what I was supposed to kick off my relationships and advice series or group of videos was doing a what you should talk about prior to getting into a serious relationship with somebody, and I started doing that, and then basically the other videos like didn't really record properly due to technical difficulties, and essentially what ended up happening is, because my religion one was so big, I just made it a religious based one for that one. So make sure to click on that one before you watch this one if you haven't watched that one already. And essentially today I'm going to be like following off that sort of kind of narrative of things that I think are really important to talk about. So number one, after obviously the religious one, that was number one. But so number one for this video, kids, because I'm bringing this up because I'm getting very tired. I'm not going to, sorry, I shouldn't get tired with people. That's really, really rude. But I'm a bit tired. I'm a little bit tired of this. I'm a bit tired of hearing of stories or being told by people that, oh yeah, I was in a relationship with somebody for so long, and they didn't want kids and I want kids, and now we've broken up because they didn't want kids. Why are you waiting 3, 4, 5 years even to have this discussion? If this is something you really want in your life, people need to stop thinking that they can actually change people and can change how people want to live. You see this? Hello? So, yeah. So as I was saying, like, I just don't understand. Like, this is something that you want in your life. Kids, there are a few things in life that are not really compromisable. Having kids and not having kids is not really a compromisable factor, because either way, like, someone's not really getting what they want. Like, it's either you have a child or you don't have a child. There's no half children. So essentially it's the number of kids, etc., or I think, or how you have your kids, whether that be, adoption, and so that can come a little bit later. I don't think that's necessarily a conversation that you have to have pretty much off the bat, but having kids is one, because they are a huge part of your life. Like, your life will completely change when you have a child. So whether you want to have kids or not is something that you need to discuss a few dates in, so that you can be like, you know what, lovely to meet you, yes, we do get on, but you know what, no thank you. The worst thing that you want to happen is for you to be, to be angry with your partner throughout your relationship, because you just cannot forgive the fact that you feel like you have been talked into having a kid or to not having a kid. Like, some people are actually not selfless enough to be able to provide the type of attention that a child requires. And if you know that you're not that type of person, that you actually would not be a good parent, like, why are you trying to... Yeah, no. So that point is done. Essentially, if you want a child, you need to be with someone who wants to have kids. And if you don't want a child, you need to be with someone who doesn't want to have kids. Stop trying to, talk somebody into wanting the same philosophy as you regarding children. It's not a good look. Number two, one that I think is also really important, especially as a Christian, is talking about physical boundaries. Most most importantly, sex, basically, because the Bible teaches about not having sex before marriage. However, of course, there are Christians who do have sex before marriage. And I think it's really important to address, and there are other religions that also have the same sort of rules regarding sex before marriage, and there are other people who within that religion who do end up having sex before marriage. So I think it's really important regarding sex to kind of, if you do not want to have sex before marriage, tell that person you do not want to have sex before marriage, because you find yourself wanting to do things to please them, and that can sometimes go against your moral conscience, and that can sometimes go against what you actually really want fundamentally in your relationship, and that can cause resentment within your relationship again. So I think it's really important that if you're somebody who does not want to have sex before marriage, that you outline that from the jump, so that somebody can say to you, you know what, like, I will find that really difficult, I can't do that, and you guys can go your opposite ways. Or someone can be like, you know what, I'm the same, I don't want to do that, and then you can continue on your relationship, not feeling like you have this kind of big elephant in the room. And I would say you want to kind of do that before you end up in as not necessarily a compromisable situation, but a situation that will make you more likely to end up in an a situation that's more likely to create intimacy. So such as like going over to each other's houses and chilling. Like, it would be wise to have that conversation beforehand, so that you guys know that, okay, when we go to each other's houses, like, what are our boundaries on this, so that no one ends up crossing boundaries. The reason why I highlighted sex above other things is because I think that in regards to things like, oh, are we going to hug? Are we going to hold hands? Are we going to kiss? Are we going to go away together? These are things that are more likely to kind of be altered a lot more within the relationship, especially as Christians who are setting that boundary of not having sex before marriage. Because if you set that as a boundary, it means that, okay, we're not doing this. Like, that's already out of the way. There are other factors or other types of physical touch or doing things together. Those are things that we can now talk about if we're going to do them, if and when, etc. So that's why I think it's really important that's why I've made that distinction, sorry. And I think, you just don't want to end up in a compromisable situation. There's so many people who are manipulated within relationships. There's so many people who, and they don't even realize it's manipulation. I've heard stories of, I thought he loved me, there's no way the amount of times I have pointed out to my friends who are in relationships that they're being manipulated, and it wasn't until I said, look, you are being manipulated, X, Y, and Z shows the manipulation, that they've actually been able to clock and been like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that, like, I didn't even see it. So that's why, having your strong stance on it from the beginning, whether that's a yes or a no, is really, really important, so that each party knows what they're getting themselves into, essentially. Number 3, so this is to do with personality traits. So there are certain personality traits that, let me start again. Number 3 is to do with personality traits. So I'm not going to really be out here outlining every personality trait. And I think also there are certain personality traits that can work in opposite and really work well together, such as like some extroverts with introverts, etc. Can actually work well. However, there are certain traits that honestly are so core to you as a fundamental being, that being with somebody who does not have those traits, you will literally, the relationship will not work. You will just be angry all the time. So for example, for me, I'm quite like ambitious and quite resilient. So I know I need to be with someone who's quite ambitious and quite resilient. Otherwise, we are not going to work. And that doesn't mean that you have to be earning like, you know, doing up eight figure lifestyle, doing up $1 million, you know, listing lifestyle. Even if you, I mean, if you are and you want to holler, that there's no problem, obviously, but it doesn't mean that you have to be doing that. However, I need somebody who, you know, has a godly work ethic, who, when they get knocked down or when things don't go their way, they're like, okay, cool, like I've been, you know, given themselves time to be upset, but like, what am I going to do about it now? What's the next move? What's the next step? Somebody who's actually pushing as hard as they can to be the best that they can without compromising their religion, without compromising their family structure. That's the type of person I need to be with. I cannot deal with lazy people. I cannot deal with people who don't work hard. And that doesn't mean that we don't have our days where we're just like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Like, God created rest for a reason. We all need to rest. But I cannot be dealing with it. I always tell my friends that, like, I would rather marry somebody who is like ambitious and resilient, who doesn't earn like, who's on like let's say like a 50k salary, which is a good amount of money, by the way, then be with somebody who has like no ambition, no resilience, and is a millionaire. Because honestly, like, if that business were to fail, like, if, or in these cases with these people who have that type of lazy energy, it's probably not even their business, it's probably their family's business and they're just working for them. But if it was to like, if something was to happen to that, you would just do nothing. You won't know what to do. You would just be in a slump. Like, and I can't deal with that. That's not the type of, like, parents are really important in shaping their kids in, and yes, of course, like, we don't take everything from our parents, but those are not the type of values that I want to instill in my children, that when things go wrong, you just sit there and sulk, like, for months on end, or you just don't do anything about it. Like, I can't. So yeah, make sure that, like, and I think the way to figure out like what are your core fundamental values and what are your core fundamental values is by developing, like, by looking at yourself externally, by looking at yourself through another set of eyes and thinking, okay, if I met this girl, if I met this guy, what would I think of her or him? Being yourself, obviously. What would I think of me if I wasn't me? What would I like about me? What would I not like about me? And I think when you establish those sort of lists, then you can be like, okay, you know what, I know that these are the things that I like about me, and you'll be able to kind of see, like, okay, now is this something that I would find important to be to have in a partner? Because I think there's a difference. Like, I've been watching, or I was watching, I need to actually catch up, the whole Relationship Reloaded thing with Pastor Mike Todd and the Rip Up Your List mentality. And I'm for that, for, you know, the superficials, even though I know myself, I have a couple of superficial, just a couple on that list. But I think when it comes to things like, you know, work ethic and ambition and resilience, those are not bad things to have on your list as things that you want to find in people, because those are good, you know, good godly traits. The third thing that obviously I was talking about, ambition and resilience. So those are things that, you know, you might not figure out straight away. And it's also things that is not just based on, you know, what you speak about, but how the person acts. But I think, you know, by asking questions on dates, and not everyone has like a 10-year plan, or, which I don't think is that smart anyway, because things change so much. I mean, I think what everyone's learned from 2020 is that nothing is certain. Plans can change, you know, quicker than the blink of an eye. Like, it's crazy. But I think you'll be able to ascertain from somebody, even if they don't have like, you know, this 10-year plan, you'll be able to ascertain like whether this person actually has goals and what are they doing to fulfill their goals. Oh my gosh, there's so many people who are really out here being like, oh yeah, I want to be this, I want to be that. But like, if you ask them, okay, what steps are you making? And it doesn't have to be, you know, you might not have everything on lock, but what are you trying to do? Are you reading more about that to find out more, you know, to be more knowledgeable about that area? Are you trying to network with people to be so that you have more contacts? Are you putting in time into your craft? What are you actually doing? And they just look at you like, oh, like they have silence, nothing, zero. Like a lot of people like to be like, oh yeah, these are my goals, but when you actually push them harder and be like, okay, so what? How do you plan to like achieve those goals? Or they don't have anything for you. Like, so my G, like how are we getting from A to B if you have no way of getting there? But yeah, so essentially those are the three important things that I wanted to discuss today. I'll also be doing other videos on relationships and advice. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. Let me know if there are any other type of videos that you guys would like me to make. This is Natasha's narrative. You'll see me later. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Stay blessed, stay focused, stay on point, stay on your goal. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys another time. Bye.